Well, good afternoon, everyone. Mark Hoover for NCM Sports, and I'm proud to be here today at the Skating Club of Boston, along with Norwood's very own Max Naumov. Max, welcome.
Thank you.
Thanks very much for taking the time out of what I know is an incredibly busy schedule to be with us here today to talk about your sport. The current 2020 national gold champion in figure skating. Max, I know you've been doing this for most of your life. When did you get started in the sport of figure skating, and what kind of drew you to the sport?
Sure. So my parents were figure skaters. They did really well in their career. They were pair skaters, and they made it to the Olympic team. They got 4th and 5th at separate Olympic games, so it's kind of in my blood. But yeah, they kind of got me into it when I was about, I want to say, 4 years old. They put skates on me and kind of gave me a try, and I didn't really enjoy it too much, I think, at first. And then they were like, okay, we'll give them some time. And when I was 5 years old, they were like, okay, let's try this again. And I showed a lot more interest, and from there it was once a week, then twice a week, and all the way up to 5 or 6 times a week now.
Well, I know that you're originally from the Connecticut area.
Yeah.
What brought you up here to Norwood?
Yeah, so the Skating Club Boston reached out to us, and they invited us. I mean, my parents and I, our family, we were in Simsbury, Connecticut for our whole life, and they finished off their careers there and started coaching there, so I ended up there as well. But then slowly people started leaving. It was kind of like a hub for a lot of really famous and professional skaters, and people started to slowly leave and kind of leave the area and move on to different things, and slowly kind of things died down there, and we were very lucky to get invited by the Skating Club Boston, and that's kind of why we're here.
Yeah, well, it's one of their losses is clearly Norwood's gain.
Yeah, absolutely.
As I mentioned, you are kind enough to take time out of your day. For a figure skater of your caliber, take us through what might be kind of an average day in terms of training. What do you have to go through every day?
Sure, yeah. So, I mean, actually now it's very lucky because I don't have to, drive too long to get to the rink now because it's only like 10-ish minutes, which is great. Before, when it was in the other location, we had to drive closer to like 30-40 minutes, right, and downtown. So I have to wake up early. But now, I'm waking up at around 8 or 9 o'clock. I get here, I warm up for about 30-45 minutes for my first session. My first session, I skate for an hour and 20 minutes, just doing all my stuff, jump, spins, like programs, all that kind of stuff. After that, I stretch out a little bit and then get ready, maybe get some food, and then get ready for my second session, which is around 1. I skate that, same thing, pretty intense, like stuff like that. And then right now I'm getting ready for competition, so we're slowly kind of coming down off of the off-ice part or the workout part, but in a normal kind of training environment, I would be doing workout Monday, Wednesday, Friday, so that's like a 2-hour thing at the gym, just kind of going hard, and also on top of that, I'm coaching some of the days, and it's a very busy schedule, so I'm getting home at like 6, 7 o'clock, and just get some food and then get some rest and get ready for the next day.
Do it all over again.
Yeah, absolutely.
Well, it is interesting because if you think about it, a lot of people, they just think that maybe this is, we got a couple skaters out here behind us, is that you get out and you skate and you skate and you skate, but a lot of it is the off-ice training as well, right?
Yeah, no, it's a very big part. I mean, you can't really substitute on-ice training, obviously, but you can really improve your strength, your coordination, your flexibility, all those like really important factors that kind of lead up and really come into play here, and it separates the people, from the top and kind of in the middle of the pack. So if you really focus on all areas, like on and off the ice, then that's what really, kind of makes you a champion. Yeah. So, yeah.
Speaking of which, having been involved with this as long as you have, what would you say, is kind of your strength that you bring as a skater?
Man, that's a tough question. I mean, I would say probably my artistry. I think my second score, my component score. There's technical sides to skating, and then there's a component side to skating, which is more skating skills and choreography and kind of things like that. I think that ever since I was young, I had really cool programs, and we were able to do some unique things, and that's something that kind of drew me towards the sport. I think even too, I was able to kind of express myself and play different characters, I guess, on the ice, and create different stories. Like each program, I feel like is a story. So You know, we were able to do that and create that. Obviously, I love jumping. Like, don't get me wrong, that's one of my favorites as well. But I think one of my strengths is definitely my artistry and my choreography. So,
You know, just before we came on, I had asked you a little bit about this because I have always, and my wife has as well. She loves the sport, and she said you have to ask. So I'm going to ask.
Sure.
The choreography part. We've got the music and obviously the jumps and the skating and whatnot. I've often wondered. What comes first? You know, do you come up with the music first and then you put the skating to it? Do you come up with the skating and put the music, or is it kind of a blend situation?
Yeah, so
there?
it's usually, I mean, usually when you're younger, you kind of, the coaches kind of, or at least for how it worked for me. I mean, I'm lucky to tell my parents are my coaches, but they would kind of see some music and see what would fit my style, I guess, and at my level, and they would kind of choose for me. But as I grew older, you know, it comes into play where the athlete gets to choose as well. So the athlete kind of looks and sees what he's feeling, and I guess you get to really choose and kind of go into choose your own path, I guess. And I think the first step is, well, I'm also lucky enough to work with my choreographer Adam Blake. He's amazing. He's great. He's done a few of my programs now, and you know, I love them. And judges are also saying that they're great. So.
Yeah.
But yeah, the situation, it kind of starts like this. We all get together, my choreographer, my coaches, and I, and we kind of just brainstorm. We kind of bring our ideas to the table, and we kind of just listen to each other and see what we think, and then we kind of come to an agreement and, you know, choose 2 pieces of music for short and long, and we kind of go from there, and then we bring it on the ice.
You mentioned that the short program and the long program, because as I understand the sport, you have to compete in both.
Absolutely, yeah.
The short is that's the more technical one, right? There are certain requirements that need to be done.
Yeah,
and then
I mean, both.
is kind of a bit more.
Well, both programs are very technical.
Yep.
I think the difference really is the length of the. I mean, short program is about 2 minutes and a little bit, I think, or a little bit, I think, into the 3-minute mark. But the long program is 4 minutes and 30 seconds. So. 4 minutes and like 15-ish.
Yeah.
But anyway, so the short is very important to skate kind of clean, because some people wouldn't even go for the craziest jumps in the short, because sometimes you even have to qualify it out of the short. So it's very important to skate clean in the short. But then long, you have more, I guess, how would I say this? I guess you have more freedom because you do have more time, but there's also more elements that have to be done. I mean, there's certain requirements for both programs, but in the long, you kind of it's way harder though, because you need to have a lot more stamina.
Yeah.
It's really almost like sprinting for 4 minutes and something seconds. So it's crazy. But I mean, it's each person has their favorites. I think I'd have to say mine's probably the short.
Yeah.
It's short and sweet. I think it's you have just that little bit of time, and you're able to kind of. I always like to have my short programs have a lot of energy, because it's like a short burst of energy, and it really kind of gets the audience or the judges going, and it's really cool.
That's awesome. And again, it probably comes back to you talk about not only the on ice but the off ice training that helps with that stamina for 4 minutes or even 2 and change to be able to keep up like that.
It's very important. I mean, running and doing all that kind of stuff, like endurance training, even skating programs day in and day out, it's gonna, by the end of the week I'm practically dead. Like it's ridiculous, but it's all worth it. I mean, you train like a lot more extra than what you would do on a regular performance, so you're ready for that. You want to do way more in practice so that it's easier in the competition. The hard work really happens on the practice. When you get to competition, it's almost kind of like just do what you've already been doing, and just kind of trust yourself, I guess.
Well, clearly the training that you have done thus far has paid off. I mentioned gold medalist in the 2020 U.S. Junior Championship here in the United States, but that's not it. Let me go through a few other things here. So because you're the national champion, that gives you the chance to then go off to the World Juniors. Is that correct?
Yes.
And so that was in March of this year, and to that in the world, you placed 5th.
Yeah.
Going back. We said 5th place. So 2018 bronze in the U.S. Junior, 2017 gold in the U.S. Novice, 2017 gold in the Challenge Cup, 2016 gold in the Gardenia Trophy. But I also understand you kind of missed a little bit of the 2018, 2019 season with an injury.
Yes,
Yeah.
I was injured. It was an ankle injury. I've had 4 surgeries on it already, and yeah, it's been a pretty long battle.
Well, it's amazing though for an injury of that. I would think, especially for a skater. We know that the ankle strength and the jumping, the landing, and the skating in general is so important. To be able to come back from that kind of surgery and then to gold, to medal, and then to get out to the worlds is just an incredible accomplishment.
Yeah, it was. We went through so much with that. It's been over the span of almost 5 years now. Even still dealing with it to this day. I mean, I would love to say that all those surgeries are fixed everything, but unfortunately the pain will always probably be there, and it's been something that we've been struggling with, but it just meant that much more that I was able to kind of pull everything together at at nationals and at the World Championships.
It's absolutely amazing. I was going through some stuff. I'm like, wow. So maybe it was kind of nice that you had that little injury, gave someone else a chance to actually medal instead of you taking them all. If you had to look back, and maybe it's not one of these events, or maybe it was something from when you were 6, but what of those is kind of like a special memory, a special moment for you?
Man, that's tough. I think it's always hard to pick just one. I think when I was young, I think my first national championships I won when I was at the juvenile level. I think it was in, I don't want to say the wrong date, but 2014 or something, or 13. I don't know. But I was very young, and that was my first national title that I got, and that's when I kind of knew oh, this is possible.
Right.
It's possible to kind of come out on top. I was going there just for experience, and I was able to skate well enough to win, and I was like, this could be something.
Something you found you're pretty good at, and you continued right along.
Yeah.
The World Championships were out in Estonia in March.
Yeah.
And we know right around the time of March, that's when things got a little squirrely here with this whole mass COVID thing.
Yeah.
How has that affected not only maybe the way you train and how you train, but your sport as a whole? How has the pandemic affected that?
For sure. I mean, it's very, very tough for all sports, I think, right now.
Mm-hmm.
But for us personally, I mean, we were quarantined for about 2 months around that time, and we weren't able to be on the ice at all. And like I said earlier, you can't substitute training on the ice. We were doing off ice every single day. We had a certain very strict program that we were following, and we were able to kind of stay in shape that way. But yeah, it was very tough for us because we didn't know. We didn't know when we were able to come back. We kind of, we were just looking at our TVs, kind of wondering what's going to happen next. And so yeah, but it's hit our sport, I think, very, very hard because, when we're skating, you can see all these people on the ice. They have to wear masks, and I mean, it's very tough, especially when you're doing programs you're doing, back-to-backs, even double run-throughs. It's really hard to breathe, and you can look at it as positively though. The way I do, it's extra training. Really, it's almost like training in Colorado on altitude or something. But it's I mean, and events got canceled obviously, and we're having a completely different series of competitions this year than usual. But they're really still trying to do something. I mean, Skate America's coming up, which is in about 2-ish weeks, and it's going to be kind of like the other sports are doing, a bubble. It's going to be pretty much exactly like that. So from the hotel straight to the to the arena, with kind of just no extra contact or anything like that. So I'm really happy that we're still able to have those events. Obviously, it's gonna be weird. I mean, there's no one in attendance and things like that. But still being able to have something to kind of train for this season, and I would say it's definitely kind of given us some motivation. I think during a time of really just not knowing what we're gonna do and something like that. But I'm very, very happy that we're still able to kind of have that event.
When we first started, I mean, if you look behind you here, at the Skating Club of Boston, they got the jumbotron up there.
Yeah.
What a facility. I mean,
Oh,
you
it's
know,
great.
it's absolutely gorgeous. We've had the chance to come through a couple times. You were one of the first ones to skate on the main surface here when they did the soft opening a couple weeks ago. What is this facility like for a skater of your caliber to come to this type of facility to practice and to
Sure,
work?
it's wonderful. I mean, honestly, like you know, people sometimes say this, but I think it's really true here. I could not ask for anything more. I think, like, you know, we have all of the resources that we need. I mean, we have incredible, you know, like sheets of ice. This is Olympic size. Like, that's sometimes actually rare to come across in the U.S.
Yeah.
I mean, you know, everything's NHL size and things like that. But you know, the ice, the off-ice room, the wonderful coaches that are here, the medical center that's here, which is also very, very rare. You know, it's on site, you know, PT and all that kind of stuff, which is super important, and recovery and, you know, preventive injury or injury prevention exercises, like that's very, very important. We have people for that here. So we literally have everything that we need, and, you know, the facility is great. It's very warm in here, which is a big, big plus.
Yeah.
But yeah, I'm very, very happy with, and all the other athletes as well. I talk to them about it all the time. I think they're very happy with how everything is here, and you know, I'm always happy to, you know, get here and start training, and just kind of
makes it worth coming. You know, if you got to get up early, like I said,
absolutely,
just a few minutes
it's
around
so
the
worth
corner.
it. It's so worth it.
You know, we've been here. I've been here a couple times. This is my second time here, and every time I've been here, the parking lot is usually, you know, very busy, regardless of the time of day. And you've got skaters are out on the ice at all times. And I mean, we just look out here behind us, and there's, you know, folks of different sizes and ages. For someone like yourself, what sort of advice might you offer to, you know, those that are just starting out in the sport, you know, in terms of encouragement to get more and more involved in it? What would you offer to those younger people?
Oh man, well, I think one of the most important things, there's obviously many, but I think it's to truly really love what you're doing.
Mm-hmm.
I think that's probably my number one. I would say if you know, if you're doing this for somebody else, or if you're kind of coming here and it's not, I guess, what you would want to be doing. I mean, we all have those days, obviously, but if this isn't what you love, like, you really have to love what you're doing, I think. If you have that down, then you know, you're gonna work hard at something that you love.
Mm-hmm.
You're gonna work hard at something that you really like doing and enjoy it. So yeah, just I think really enjoy what you're doing, and you know, work really hard. Get ready to work hard, because, you know, people are doing some crazy stuff out there, and you know, your hard work never goes to waste. So
well, and as you had mentioned, not only are you obviously practicing, but you're now coaching as well, right?
Yeah,
so,
absolutely.
So you're able to kind of impart a lot of that wisdom and skill and mindset that you've developed to maybe, like, I use the word the next generation, but those kids that are coming up. For those that are maybe, you know, slightly older, slightly more in the sport, what do you kind of recommend to them to take it to that next level, such that you're at, you know, in terms of international competitions?
Sure. Well, this is something that I've actually kind of only am slowly dipping into. I think it's you know, you can train as hard as you want physically. You can train your muscles, you can train your flexibility, agility, all that kind of stuff. But it's really, really important to train your mind. Your mental strength is sometimes way more valuable than anything you can do physically. It's something I'm slowly dipping into now. I mean, I've, you know, been doing, you know, I've been meeting my psychologist and finding out strategies on how to approach the day and competitions and all that kind of stuff. Mental toughness is very, very important. You know, you can have the best skater out there, you know, technically, but that can crumble under pressure and stuff like that. So, you know, it's really, really important to be mentally tough, and I think it's not looked at as much as it should be.
Right.
You know, that stuff is very, very important. I mean, you can hear this from other athletes as well in other, you know, sports. Mm-hmm. They really say, I'm sure you heard this before, like, it's, you know, it's 70-80% mental, like, and it's true.
Yeah.
You know, it's hard to say that or agree with that if you're not in the sport, but if you're in it, you know what that means.
Right.
You're part of the game, I guess you can say, and you know that that's very true. So that's kind of, I guess, my advice, or what I learned for the past, you know, 15 years of skating.
And I could see that, especially in a sport like yours, where, and I know there's pair skating, but a lot of it is individual.
Sure.
And it doesn't take, I mean, you're on what, a quarter, whatever it is, of steel.
Yeah.
And it doesn't take much to slip, to miss something,
Yeah.
and then to be able to kind of just write yourself right up.
Sure.
And continue along.
Yeah, it's
that mental aspect has got to be huge.
We have 7, 8 jumps in the program, in the long program rather, as an example. People who fall in the first one, sometimes they can, the whole program goes to waste. They fall on every single jump after that. Or they fall on the first jump and it's very, very tough to pick yourself up and kind of forget about it, take one jump at a time, and finish off the program, doing every other element. So again, mental toughness, very, very important.
Yeah. When you're not here, which I know is quite a bit.
Yeah, not.
What do you like to do when you're not on the ice, when you're not preparing to get on the ice?
Yeah, no, I'm a very chill guy, I think. I'm not the type to be running off to do something super, super fun. I mean, obviously, I enjoy a good time with friends and stuff, but I think just kind of being low-key, I love to ride my bike a lot of the times, kind of clear my mind, just even around Norwood or whatever, and, kind of stay at home, relax. I mean, I spend a lot of the time kind of working and moving all the time, so just kind of laying down and either playing games, like maybe video games or something, just kind of get my mind off of things and
just to sit on
read
the
a book
couch
sometimes.
change, right?
Read a book sometimes, like stuff like that.
Yeah.
Obviously, I love hanging out with friends and stuff. But yeah, just something low key, just something very chill. I enjoy that a lot.
You had mentioned, I know you've got Skate America coming up.
Yeah.
Future plans. I'm assuming that there's this Olympic, goal in mind. Do you have that kind of targeted out, or is it just?
Yeah, I mean, slowly we're getting into the stages of kind of planning that. I think not this cycle, I think, but the one after that.
Right.
So I have about 6-ish years. So yeah, that's what athletes do. Really, they kind of plan out very far ahead.
Right.
Because you have to. I mean, you have to have short-term goals. You also have to have long-term goals. So I think, it's definitely something we're looking at now, starting more than we had before previously. But yeah, we're already starting to kind of plan that out and seeing how, which things we have to do, which milestones we have to reach before we can really think about that. So yeah, Skate America is a big step for that. So, it's we're definitely starting to think about that. I mean, it's been my dream since I was, about this big.
Right,
so, any athlete's dream, I think. Right. But, when it really starts to become realistic, it's very motivating, I think.
Well, that will certainly be something for us here in the town of Norwood to start to follow and continue to follow your career. And boy, that would be really exciting.
It would be great, absolutely.
Because you see those, the towns that have like the little sign, be like Norwood, home of Olympic. That'd be kind of fun to put up there on Route 1. Yeah. Max, thanks again for coming out here this afternoon to talk to us, to take some time. Really, congratulations on everything so far. It's just absolutely amazing. As I look through, I'm going, just when you can't think, I'm like, oh yeah, of course, gold.
Thank you so much for having me.
Your accomplishments have been second to none.
Thank you.
We wish you the very, very best of luck going forward.
Thanks so much.
Thank you very much. I appreciate it.
Thank you.
Mark Hoover for NCM Sports coming to hear you from the Skating Club of Boston, along with Norwood's very own Max Naumov.